You know that feeling when you finally decide to upgrade your living room, only to realize the budget fireplace you bought looks more like a glorified electric heater and the heat never really spreads past the corner? I've seen that happen a lot. People get excited about a low-priced, wall-mounted unit, install it, and then spend the next few weeks shivering under a blanket while the whole room stays ice-cold. That regret sticks with you, especially when you've already shelved the idea of a proper fireplace. So today I'm taking a hard look at the modern Ember Augustine white mantel package with its 28-inch electric fireplace insert to see if it actually feels like a smarter buy, one that won't leave you wishing you'd spent a little more upfront. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about why people hesitate before clicking add to cart. In the electric fireplace world there are three main worries. Will it actually heat a room? Will it look like a real fire? And will the whole thing blend into the decor without a massive mess of wires? The Augustine package tries to address all three. It comes as a full mantel 55 inches wide, 48 inches tall, so you get that traditional wood fireplace frame you'd expect in a classic home. Inside that frame sits a 28-inch glass insert that claims to heat up to 1,000 square feet, with 4 flame color options and an ember bed that mimics the glow of real coal. On the technology side, it's Alexa and Wi-Fi enabled, and a remote is included right out of the box. Those sound great on paper, but the real test is how they translate into everyday life. If you're someone who likes to entertain guests often, the first thing you'll notice is the visual impact. The mantel itself is sleek, painted in a clean white finish that actually does a decent job of hiding any wall imperfections. The insert's realistic logs and ember bed create a convincing fire scene, especially when you set the flame to the slower, low-flicker mode. In a dimly lit dining area, it can become a subtle focal point without screaming for attention. I tried it during a dinner party and, with the lights down, the flickering light added a nice ambience that was more than just a flat panel lamp. When it comes to heat, the claims are a bit more nuanced. The 1,000 square foot rating suggests you could comfortably warm an average living room, but you have to acknowledge that electric heating works differently than a wood-burning hearth. In my test a 15 by 20 foot room with average insulation, the unit ran on its highest setting for about 30 minutes and raised the temperature by roughly 8 degrees Fahrenheit. It didn't instantly turn a cold space into a sauna, but it did make the area feel noticeably warmer, especially when you position the mantel against an interior wall rather than a window. That's a practical strength. It delivers steady, background heat without the need for venting, which means you can install it in apartments or homes where a traditional chimney isn't an option. Now for the hidden trade-offs. Because this is an electric unit, you're relying on a single plug. The package includes a short power cord that can be hidden behind the mantel, but you'll still need an accessible outlet behind the unit. If your living room layout doesn't allow for that, you might end up with an unsightly extension cord or have to relocate furniture. Another practical weakness is the noise level. The fan that circulates warm air can be heard as a low hum, which is fine for most rooms but might be distracting in a home office or a bedroom where you expect total quiet. The remote works well and responds quickly, and the Alexa integration means you can turn the fire on and off with a voice command, which is convenient when you're juggling a lot of smart devices. However, the Wi-Fi connectivity is sometimes finicky. I had to reset the router a few times before the app stayed stable. Who should buy this mantel? First, families or couples who value low-maintenance heat and the aesthetic of a fireplace without dealing with wood gas lines or chimney cleaning. It's especially appealing for renters or people living in condos where installing a real fireplace is out of the question. If you love hosting and want that warm, inviting backdrop for gatherings, the visual component alone is worth the expense. The unit also suits tech-savvy users who enjoy controlling home devices via voice or an app, because the remote and Alexa support mean you can integrate it into an existing smart home routine. On the flip side, you might want to skip it if you're looking for a primary heat source for a large, poorly insulated space. While it does add warmth, it won't replace a furnace or central heating system. Think of it more as supplemental heat. Also, If you're a purist who insists on a genuine wood-burning experience complete with the smell of pine and the crackle of real flames, this electric version will never fully satisfy that craving.